How is everyone doing? What's up, Gray?
What's up, my
Happy
friend?
Monday, man. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Look at that. Italian Eddie is in the house. So how's it going, brother? Ann Palmer's in the house. Finally made it, Ann. Good for you. Nice
Good
to see
you,
you.
Ann.
How's it going, brother? Let's talk real quick before we get into this because I've got a lot to talk about today, and I'm sure that, well, I was going to say I'm sure that you do too. I'll try to let you, okay?
There's a lot of great people in the house tonight. I'm looking at all the different people in chat.
Yeah. Look at Ali Ruiz in the house. Miss Worm, hello. Yarn Preppers in the house. Wendell Walton, how are you doing? Good to see you all. Happy Monday to you all. I hope that you all had a great weekend. Let's see. I'm going to give the floor to GREYMAN for about a minute, and then we're going to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen, because we got a jam-packed live stream for you all today. So again, thank you very much for joining in.
Say, Linda, yes, I do have my water.
I'm drinking poison today. Look, I'm drinking poison, Gray. Everyone here, poison. It's poison.
Ooh, pure sugar. That's the sugar.
No, this is worse than sugar. This is a diet stuff.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, it's worse.
All right. So you want me to go ahead and talk about what I was going to mention?
Yeah, man. Go for it, brother. I'm going to look at the chats here real quick.
All right. So real quick, folks. A lot of people have been commenting on the last 4 review videos that I did because I put something in the community tab on my channel. Thank you to those folks that are doing that. It's not on this stream that I'm doing that thing. It'll be on next Monday's night live stream. I'll be talking about the whole surprise thing. But I did really quick want to say thank you all so much for the support on the review videos. Like I said, some people love them, some people hate them. But I'm trying to be a nice guy and do something a little extra for you folks that have taken the time to watch those videos, leave comments and all that stuff like that. So I just wanted to say thank you because I know a lot of my Rudy's people and my people are kind of intermingled with each other. So just wanted to say thank you to all those folks and just to remind you guys it'll be on next week's live stream.
What are you doing, Gray?
I don't know. I think that's all I had to say.
Is that all you have to say?
Well, I mean, this week I'm doing gardening and pantry haul videos. I'm taking a week off from all the dang review crap. I am giving away at AC a Blue Yeti on the end of the month on that review video. So there's that to watch out for too. So lots of stuff happening, man. It's just busy. And I was burnt out last week, my friend, because I did all that work on the YouTubes and then I had to go to work. And then, I told you the stuff that's happening with the wife. Nothing negative, folks. Me and the wife are very happy.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just some personal things with the vehicle and cost and all that jazz. But yeah, man. So I think that's it. I think I can yield my time to Rudy.
You yield your time. All right. It's fair game now. So, yeah, I actually have a few things to say. Be on the lookout tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, for a triple review video that I got going out on some really cool stuff, man. I really can't wait to share this with you. I came across a new item that I think every prepper ought to have, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me after you watch that. So that will be out tomorrow. I just finished editing it. And anyone, let me say thank you very much real quick to D. Thank you, D, very much for the super chat. Truly appreciate it. Any super chats that come in, if any come in, not required, ladies and gentlemen, but as always appreciate it. I'll put to the side and then I'll go over them later on. All right. But like I said, not required. So we talked about the video that I've got coming out tomorrow. The video that I put out yesterday. You all know that I put out a news videos on Sundays and on Wednesdays. The one that I put out yesterday, which in part was talking about Tyson Foods and the situation that they've got going on with them, I ended up putting it on the unlisted category because I found that I made in my opinion, a big mistake during the beginning of that video, and I wanted to clear it up here. So I just left it up for my members and Patreons, and I wanted to clear it up here, and then I'll think about putting it back up because that video was more than just about Tyson Foods. It had a couple of other subject matters that I think are very important that people need to know about. So I may re-release it tomorrow sometime, but I wanted to set the record straight here. That way you all know that I made a mistake, and I want to make sure that you all know. So on that video, I stated that Tyson Foods was owned by China. They are not owned by China. I confused Tyson Foods with Smithfield. Is it Smithfield Gray?
Yeah, Smithfield Foods. Yes,
Yeah, the ones that own like the pork processing plants and stuff like that.
correct.
So yeah, I confuse them with Smithfield. I know that's not a huge deal, but I don't like to put information out there or leave information out there that I know has some falsehoods in them, right? Whether I did it on purpose or not, I would never do it on purpose, but I don't want to leave it out there knowing that there's something there that's just 100% wrong. And that, in my opinion, is enough for me to try to go ahead and set the record straight that I know that Smithfield is owned by China and not Tyson. Tyson does have a branch of their poultry industry or their poultry business that is somewhat owned or partially owned by China that they are trying to sell off. Okay. However, I still want to talk about Tyson today because I think it's very important that we understand that what they're doing, they're using code words. In my opinion, I have to say that in my opinion, because we're on the internet and I don't want to get sued, especially by a big corporation like Tyson. So in my opinion, I think that what they're doing is they're using words that mean something else so that it doesn't sound like what it really is. So I wanted to talk about that for a little bit. I've got a very nice article, ladies and gentlemen, right here that we can actually take a look at together. And and the thing is this is that Tyson is supposed to be a private corporation, and a private corporation is supposed to be able, well, actually, they're public. Tyson is public, I believe. But either way, it's owned by private people who buy their stocks. And it's not supported by the government, i.e., by we the taxpayers. It's a corporation that makes a profit, that pays people, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a business. But they operate here in the United States of America. And only because you change the name of something that is to something that it's not, like from illegal alien to migrants, it doesn't make it any less of what it really is. And if we go over this article real quick, I think you'll get where I'm coming from. And what I'm really coming from ahead of this is that we have to support companies that love America and that provide jobs to Americans. And reading this, it's pretty disgusting what they say here, in my opinion. So thousands boycott Tyson Foods amid plan to hire 42,000 asylum seekers in New York. Right there, it tells you that they're changing words in order to make something look like what it's not. Anyone here with a brain, ladies and gentlemen, would know that out of those 42,000, they're not asylum seekers. Maybe, I would say, and this is my opinion, maybe 1% of the 7 to 10 million people that have crossed the border, the southern border, unlawfully, maybe 1%, I would say, are true asylum seekers. I would even venture to guess that a lot of the people that are coming here from Haiti, because Haiti has turned into a gang infested cannibal fest, really, where people are actually eating each other because it's so bad over there. I would say that those people could probably fall under the category of asylum seekers more so than people that are traveling through many countries just to get to this one. I would say that those are what I would call economic refugees, meaning that they're leaving their land, coming to ours for two things. Number one, the freebies, which may be free to them, but it sure isn't free to us. And number two, to try to find a better life than the life that they had in the country that they left. To me, that does not spell out asylum seekers. But here it says Tyson Food is going to be hiring 42,000 asylum seekers. Really? Are they going to interview each one of them and verify that they actually left a land where they were afraid for their lives because their safety was at risk? I don't think so. So I have a big problem with that they're already here trying to fool the public into thinking something that is not. And if I'm wrong on any of this, please let me know in the chats. Please send me an email, because I am too happy to go back on something that I said that was wrong and say, hey, I was wrong. I've made many mistakes in all of the years that I've been here on YouTube. And if I'm wrong and I'm called out, I'll say, yep, I'm wrong. So here it says, angry campaigners are, and wait until you see how they write this. And I actually went to this here site to look up an article because I know that this is one of those sites that's not center and it's not right. It's more left leaning. So I went here on purpose to see what they have to say. Angry campaigners are urging shoppers to boycott Tyson Foods and its products amid its new move to hire thousands of illegal aliens. And ladies and gentlemen, please support the channel because this is going to get throttled down. It's not going to get shared with many people. Why? Because I'm speaking true words. In my opinion, they're true words. We'll find out tomorrow if I take a look at the analytics and I see that this video wasn't shared with almost no one. Just like the last video I put out yesterday. It was shared with almost no one, but I at least got a few thousand people to watch it before I decided to bring it down some. Tyson Food has recently hired dozens of immigrants. It's probably more, but that's what it says here. With the offer, listen to this, with the offer of including immigration lawyers. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, back during 2008, when we got out of that situation in 2008, the great financial crisis, when we started hiring people back in the country, were they hiring people back, offering them lawyers so that people can get back their houses after their houses was lost to the banks because of a situation that our own government and those banks resulted in? No, they weren't doing that. But here they're going ahead and offering immigration lawyers to people whose first act of being in this country was an unlawful act, i.e., not coming in through the front door. That, ladies and gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned, and I know I get a little excited about this, I know that's a slap in the face of the American people. They're very consumers. They are slapping the face of their very consumers, and that is what I have a problem with. And again, remember, this is all my opinion. The boycott is motivated by the fear that migrants are replacing Americans for low-grade jobs. Statistics have also shown that there are significant decreases in the number of native-born Americans in blue-collar workforce. I had a discussion with a very good friend of mine yesterday while my wife and my daughter were in church about this very subject matter, that the pay that they're willing to give for these jobs is just not enough for an American to get up at 4 a.m. and go do whatever they have to do for them for whatever pay. It's just not enough. I think it's like $16.50 an hour or something like this. And this argument was being used to justify that, yeah, they need some illegal immigrants to go in there and do the job that Americans want to do. And I say no. I say no, that is not true, because the free market always works itself out. So Mr. and Mrs. America, all of you out there, and myself included, if you don't want jobs going to illegal immigrants that came in through our border unlawfully and are now here taking jobs that are American jobs, then you have to be willing to pay the price for that action. And what's that price? The price is allowing the free market to do its job. The price is saying to these companies, hey, we're not going to do the job for this price. And the government saying to these companies, you cannot hire people that came here unlawfully. And then the company is going to have to do what? Raise the wages. But what happens once they raise the wages? You see, we can't just complain about one thing and not take responsibility for the other. Because once Tyson Foods raises those wages by 50% or 100% to $30 an hour, what's going to happen to the price of the product that they put out? It's going to go up. And who's going to pay that price? The people that want that product. So the free market always works as long as you let it work. But it starts with the government adhering to and enforcing the rule of law. Because a business like Tyson Foods, in my opinion, remember, and any other large corporation, they're going to do everything they can do and get away with everything they can get away with that the government allows them to get away with. So if the government allows them to get away with hiring 42,000 illegal aliens, they're going to hire 42,000 illegal aliens and pay them $16 an hour and give them lawyers and not hire Americans that need to work for more. Why? Because the government has pretty much taken away our purchasing power through all of the inflation that they've created over the years. I hope you're sticking with me. I'm trying to get this as soon as possible so that Gray doesn't run out of coffee. The boycott is due. The boycott is due to the company's recent closure of multiple poultry and meat processing plants in Iowa, Indiana, Virginia, Arkansas, and Missouri. And I believe that those are some, if not all, of the plants that they are in the process of selling that are pretty much partially or all owned by China. So they're in the process of selling some of these plants that have a CCP connection to them. And that's where I was mistaken during yesterday's video. The closures are because Tyson plans to hire thousands of asylum seekers, illegal immigrants in New York, a move that is extremely controversial among Americans. And why shouldn't it be? It should just not be allowed. The campaigners are accusing Tyson of using the closures to ditch American workers for cheaper migrant labor. Not only are they being accused of that, but they are actually saying, yes, this is why we're doing it. I think it's their CEO that said something like, I wish we can hire more than 42,000, 52,000 or more. Right. And then here it says America First Legal is a conservative action group. When it comes to the rule of law, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't matter whether it's right or left leaning. The rule of law should be blind. And this shouldn't have even been in there, that they're a conservative action group. And they've warned the company that favoring immigrants is illegal. Again, that's just the law. It is illegal to do that. Not only illegal, but unlawful. The group posted a statement online that reads, "It is illegal under federal law to discriminate against American citizens based on their citizenship in favor of non-citizens of any kind when it comes to employment." And does it really matter what side said that statement when that statement is 100% true when it comes to the rule of law, to the Constitution of these United States? No, it doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen, because the truth is the truth. And I think this is the last part here that I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to go over a couple of tweets with you all. It says that earlier this week, Tyson announced the closure of its pork plant in Perry, Iowa. The shutdown has cost about 1,300 people their jobs in a town that has about 8,000 people, according to local news sources. The majority of the workers at the Iowa plant were Latinos. And who cares? Were they legal immigrants? Were they legal residents? Were they American citizens? And if they were, then why aren't you offering them the jobs that are now open instead of offering them to people who with their first act of stepping into the United States of America, did an unlawful act? By what? By stepping into the United States of America, coming in the wrong way. You know who this ought to bother the most? This ought to bother the most those legal immigrants that spent years. Just a second. That was my wife. I think she just realized that I'm on a live. This ought to bother most those legal immigrants, residents that came here the right way. That's who this should bother the most. You know, because if I were to have a conversation with my father, which he's not here anymore, neither my mother, RIP, they would tell me that when they came here lawfully, they didn't receive a $9,000 check. They didn't receive free housing. They didn't receive food coupons. They didn't receive Uber certificates or all this kind of stuff. They didn't receive anything. They had to have a support network here before they can come over. That way they would not drain on the government. All right, that's what should really tick off. It's those people that waited in line, that came in here and did it the right way. And here it says, this is just a couple of tweets that I found interesting because everyone's talking about this. This gentleman here says, I wonder how long it will take before other companies start laying off their workers to get the cheap labor from the illegal immigrants. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That's something that many people haven't really thought about. How long will it take for other companies to start dumping Americans to go ahead and hire people that came in here unlawfully? Garrett Dolan, the head of Tyson's Social Efforts Division, incredible, recently told Bloomberg that the company would like to employ another 42,000 if they could find them. The hell with you, Americans. Screw you, Americans. If you're an American citizen or if you got here lawfully, if you came here lawfully, the hell with you. You ain't worth our damn dime, even though you're the ones that support our business. And that's what gets me heated, because we support their business. Me, not anymore. Personally, that is. I'm not telling you what to do. But we here, we support their business, but they don't want to support us. And you know what? I wasn't, this just came into my head. On that video that I released yesterday that I put on unlisted, I talked about Opus. Opus makes solar generators and they make them in China. A company that makes their solar generators in China gives back more to Americans than what Tyson is doing. I was talking on that video about how I got contacted by one of our community members, and they said, "Hey, I just want to thank you very much for letting us know about Opus Helps, because they helped a good friend of mine get a free solar generator who really needed one for her oxygen machine but couldn't afford one." Even they are helping us more so than these companies that are here and being funded directly by the American people. And that really gets me going. Over the past few weeks, the company has hired more asylum seekers from Mexico, Colombia, and Venezuela, all from a job fair in New York. According to Dolan's statement to Bloomberg, companies like Tyson need more asylum seekers to fill the employment gaps in their plans. Their job offers for immigrants start at $16.50 an hour, with benefits likely fully paid for immigration lawyers. Incredible, man, incredible. Campaigners are kicking back against Tyson's decision to employ more immigrants because of fears that they're replacing Americans in the labor force. And the replacement theory is not true, ladies and gentlemen. All right. It's like Vivek Ramaswamy is the one that brought this up, saying that the replacement theory is happening right now, where they are replacing Americans with foreigners. For what? This is just me thinking aloud. This is my opinion. I'm not saying that I read this anywhere, that it's a fact, but to get a vote on the real Americans' dime. See, we're paying for them to come here unlawfully and putting them up, and then they get to vote for the party that's using our money to pay them. And that's not political. That's just the truth. Data released by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics show that between July and August of 2023, listen to this, this is ridiculous, the workforce suffered a significant decline in native-born workers, in Native American-born workers, at about 1.2 million people. In contrast, they gained about 668,000 jobs from people that weren't native-born to the United States of America, meaning immigrants that came in, more than likely unlawful immigrants, being that in the last 2 to 3 years, we've had about 10 million come in through the southern border with nothing to worry about, just coming in. Okay, this is it, I promise. On social media, several people have expressed their displeasure at Tyson Foods for deciding to hire more migrant workers. One person wrote on TikTok, "I haven't eaten Tyson in years. Won't start now. Their food is," probably says crap anyways, and treat the farm animals like whatever. Another one said, "It's one thing hiring them, but laying off U.S. citizens to hire them is another." A third person asked, "Are they hiring them because citizens don't want to do that job anymore?" I would like the whole story, because that's a lot of positions to fill if there isn't an underlying issue. One more person said, "Disgusting. I hope that they go out of business." I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about this one, where the third person said, "Are they hiring them because Americans don't want to do those jobs anymore?" And what you have to understand is this, ladies and gentlemen, the free market always does its job. So if Americans don't want to work for 16 bucks an hour, guess what? They're not going to work for 16 bucks an hour as long as Uncle Sam is giving them $58,000 worth of entitlements every year that they take away from you and me, the taxpayer. Of course they're not going to work. So what's the first way to fix this? Tell Uncle Sam to stay the hell out of our lives. Let us win and let us lose ourselves. That's a free market. That's freedom, when you're allowed to lose and learn from that loss. That's the free market. That's freedom, when you're allowed to win and not be subjugated to the government allowing someone else to win by providing them assistance and none to you, because you get up off your butt every day and go and kill it out in the business world. That's freedom. So the free market will take care of those Americans that don't want to do the job for 16 bucks, as long as the government gets the hell out of the way. Most of these problems that we see going on is because the government keeps putting its nose where it does not belong. And that's why I say that there will be a big crash. We will have a lot of suffering. This is nothing compared to what's coming down the line. Why? Because we continue to allow government to put its nose where it doesn't belong. As long as it benefits us, we're going to continue to do it until the day that it no longer benefits us. And then we're going to pay a very big price. Gray, take it away.
No,
wait a minute. I yield back my time right before an ad comes up. An ad should be coming up in about 3.5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
No, the only thing you didn't add in there was the whole cricket situation with Tyson as well, man.
Oh yeah, I already talked about that in the past as well. I need to drink a little bit of poison here because my throat is dry.
I feel you, man. When I get going, man, sometimes it won't stop. You know, it's funny that you're talking about this because something happened here in Florida the other day. Some people may like him or not like him. Ron DeSantis, our governor, signed a couple of different bills in regards to illegals and jobs here in the state of Florida, and because Florida is a popular place for immigrants to live, you know, Cubans and all different types of folks, and he's making it a lot more complicated for them to do. So, like, let's say I pulled up some of the information here. It says it's called E-Verify. A mandatory for any employers of 25 more employees, impose enforceable penalties for those employing illegal aliens, and enhances penalties for human smuggling. And then he just did something the other day, I think it's SB 1036, which enhances penalties committed by individuals returned to the country illegally after initial deportation. It starts with 5 years in prison, then 15 years, all up to 30 years in prison for the third offense. And something about also making drug cartels where is it at? Something about
terrorist group, I think.
Yeah, terrorist group and all that stuff like that.
Forget it, Gray. Forget it, man. You just demonetized the live. You said the T word. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start. I'm just kidding.
But
hey, let me break in real quick. Hey, Poppy's doing good. We're gonna see all of the ladies and our roosters are gonna be in tomorrow's videos. But thanks for asking.
But I saw something. I think it was Dale that wrote it. He's like, and it made sense what Dale wrote in the comment section. He's like, we as Americans, so myself, when I go to a job, I have to give them my driver's license or a state issued ID. I have to give them my social security number. I have to give them all these forms of paper and proof that I live here in the United States and do all this stuff like that. So why shouldn't everybody else, right? I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know how they're pulling the strings that they do.
Well, I know how they're pulling it off, Gray. I know how they're pulling it off. So technically, hiring those 42,000 migrants is not going to be illegal, because this is what I think. I shouldn't have said I know, but this is what I think, and I think it's very plausible. And that is that, when we have foreigners come into the nation to be workers with worker visas, they're here legally. They're here legally. All right. They can work from this date to this date, and then they have to go back home, right? Until they get another one. So what I think is that the government is fast tracking these, and they're fast tracking them at such a fast rate that they don't care to check any of them. And they don't care to check up on anyone that they approve a working visa for after it's expired. So that means that they're going to be here a lot longer than what they were supposed to be here. And they're going to be living off of our dime. I mean, in the last year or so, I think more than $1 billion worth of hospital bills were left unattended because it was from people that weren't supposed to be here, that don't really have status here in the U.S. So what they're doing, they're going to the hospital, they're getting treated, and then they're taken off because they can't pay the bills. They don't even have any paperwork to be here. How are they going to pay the bills? So who do you think is going to pay that? We're going to pay that.
Absolutely.
They're sucking up all of our resources over at schools. And let me say this once, because whenever we talk about this, I have to say this at least one time. I have absolutely no problem with immigration at all. I'm a product of immigration. I thank God that this country has an immigration system where it allows other people to come in and live what is, or maybe was, the American dream, where you can work very hard and pretty much do almost anything that you want to do within reason. I can't be an NBA basketball player, right? That's what I mean within reason, but I'm very, very happy that I was allotted that opportunity, that my parents were allotted that opportunity, and that it transferred over to me. But my parents waited in line. They got in line and they waited, and then I had to wait in line. After I was born, I had to wait in line for 3 years, a little over 3 years, in order to come here. All right. So, all of those other immigrants that came into the United States of America, which is the melting pot of the world, and it's what makes it, in my opinion, one of the strongest country in the world, is because we are so diverse. We have diversity here in the United States of America. You hear all these people talking about we need diversity. Oh, shut up. We have diversity. That's what the United States of America is. It's a melting pot of all of these people that had a dream, that wanted to come here and work hard and have that dream. And now all it is a melting pot of people that want to get free crap at our expense. And that's just not right. And it's going to end very badly, in my opinion. So, ladies and gentlemen, continue to prepare, get prepared, stay prepared, fill in those gaps.
Before I added that, I was going to say, folks, smash that like button because it helps the channel out tremendously. Last week when me and Rudy did our live stream on my channel, at the end of it, or right now it's sitting about 5,000 views, which is pretty good for my channel since I'm a smaller channel, but we only got less than 300 likes because people forget to hit that like button after watching the content. So while you're here live, go ahead and make sure you hit that like button. It's truly appreciated. It supports the channel tremendously. But
yeah,
like you
very
Rudy,
much to everyone who's doing a super chat.
Yeah, okay. We appreciate that.
Wants us to talk about what's going on with Haiti, and
we can touch on that as well.
You can go ahead and segue into Haiti once you're done with anything else you want to talk about. Great. Thank you very much to everyone who's done a super chat. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Rudy. My grandparents immigrated over from Cuba, and they went through the whole process legally. They weren't on the flotillas and that stuff like that. Some people always ask me. But no, they came over here a long time ago just to escape communism and whatnot. And then you and I both, as children of immigrants and whatnot, that came over to the United States to make a better life for themselves. We also served this country, so we have a lot of similarities in our lives.
Yep. I'm in a point where I probably wouldn't even blame people that come from Cuba, like in a boat or whatever, a float or whatever it is, because they truly do live under communism. Right? They really do live under communism. And a lot of the people that are coming from, the South that are coming in here unlawfully, a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't live under communism. They're just coming here because they think they're going to get a better life.
It's a free ticket.
Heard somewhere, I didn't see this. I haven't seen this, so this is hearsay. But I think it was from another video that I watched or heard, that there's ads in other countries telling people how they can come here, telling them what route to take, and that halfway through their route they get assistance by NGOs, by non-governmental organizations, and money that's also shifted to them through the back doors, through the back channels from us, we the people here, the citizens of the United States. So not only are we being invaded, but we're paying for that invasion to occur. How is your little grandson doing? Michael is doing very well. He's got a full mouth of teeth. He's having a very good upbringing. He's doing very well. Thank you very much for asking. Maybe here later on, his parents will allow me to put another picture up. I don't really want to put too many pictures of Michael up because he's young and I don't want him to really be in part of the social media sphere. But every once in a while, I'll ask his parents to let me, my son and my daughter-in-law, to let me put up a picture, and they'll say, yeah, but it's usually, a good while from the last one. So, but thank you for asking. And let's see. Someone else left a comment here. It says, Minuteman says they want to count them in our census so they can add more representatives. Yeah, I know. And that makes sense also, Minuteman. They want to use the heck out of them, okay? They want to use them. They don't care about the suffering. You know that this is a disgusting number. And if this alone doesn't convince you that this administration does not care about you or the people that are coming through the southern border, then nothing will. 6 out of 10 females are SA'd, all right? S assaulted. And it's the real part of that. It's not just the a little pat in the hind end. No, it's the really bad part of being assaulted. 6 out of 10, 60%. I saw a documentary here not too long ago that mothers of young girls that are putting them on the route to come here, you know what they give them? The mothers are doing this. They're giving their young daughters contraceptives, if you know what I mean, because they know there is such a high possibility that their daughters will be SA. What in the world are these people thinking? I would never put my daughter on a train and say, here, make sure you use this, because more than likely this is going to happen to you. Incredible, ladies and gentlemen. So anyone that thinks that this administration cares about you, you're very wrong. And as soon as they're done using you up, like they have others, they'll just find another set of useful idiots to bribe, to coerce, to pay, to vote them into office once again. I yield back my time, Gray.
No, you're fine. I was thinking about what you said about the ads, and I think it was either on your channel or my channel. I thought we talked about how TikTok is using the platform to it's in Mandarin, but it's telling the Chinese immigrants where to go, where the holes in the border is, and all that stuff like that. So it's crazy how this is all playing out.
You know, I am yeah, next sit. What happened to all those celebrities that said they will leave America? Yeah, it's they can talk the talk, right? But it's a little more difficult to walk the walk. I actually spoke to someone that is in the know about, you know, the things that happen behind the scenes as far as sleeper cells and bad guys and stuff like that. I asked him, I said, do you think that there's sleeper cells all over the United States, in every state, like they say there are? And he says, absolutely, absolutely. There's no doubt whatsoever in my mind, and it's not hard to believe that there is, with all of the video evidence that we have, you know, of people coming in through the southern border from countries that really, really don't like the United States of America. And we're going to pay a big price. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've already said it, but get prepared if you're not. If you're thinking about getting prepared, time is running out. To me, personally, it's not even about the money anymore, meaning the financial aspect of getting prepared, right? To me, that should be the last thing on your mind. And I'm not telling you this so that later on I can say, hey, take a look at my links and go buy some Nutrient Survival. No, yeah, I want you to buy that stuff because it's awesome food. But if you're not prepped, go and buy rice and beans. Buy the stuff that you eat. Buy the things that you use on a regular basis and get stocked up, because you're going to need it eventually. Eventually, you will need it. And then once you've got a full pantry, make sure you rotate it out. Make sure that you continue to fill in the gaps, and then get all of the other facets of preparations that you're going to need. Water filters, you know, energy devices to have extra energy, a generator, etc., etc. Then start working on all of those things. But get your life-saving preparations up first, and get the stuff that you normally eat. And what I like to say is that if you have excess wealth, meaning that if you're pretty well prepped, you go into your pantry and you're like, wow, man, everything is looking really good. Then you can start spending on luxury items, which are things like freeze-dried food. To me, I consider that a luxury item, because you shouldn't be buying freeze-dried foods until you have a pantry that has about 6 months to a year of the stuff you normally eat. You can start getting luxury items like that, you know, and we can go on and list all of these things, but I'm not going to do that. That's not what this live stream is about. But get prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you've learned anything in the last 3 or so years, is that no one is coming to your rescue. Take a look at New York City and ask yourself, is anyone coming to your rescue when things get that bad?
I'm reading a comment here, and it says, will the new administration be capable to actually drain the swamp? FBI, CIA, ATF. And this may relate to that comment. I was watching this I watch a lot of economists forecasting and stuff, like economy forecasting and things like that. And so it wasn't political what this guy was talking about. He was just talking about all this all the inflation and all the other things that are happening in the world. And he says, basically what's going to happen, it's not going to be like 2008 where there's more of a housing bubble. He said it's going to be kind of like an everything bubble. And from his mindset, he says, if how do you call it, Rudy? The orange man bad wins.
Orange man bad.
Yeah. If he wins, he feels that they might let him win, because in that 4-year period, that's when they may release this bubble. So so everything happens on his watch, and they can say, see, we told you, orange man bad. And it's truly a shame if that's what the deep state is actually planning, to make the American people suffer just to prove a point from their perspective. It was very intriguing how he broke down what's going to happen in the United States. He was kind of pushing towards civil war and stuff like that because of the economy and all the other things that are at play here. But it was a very interesting 35 minutes of my life watching that video.
Okay, well, I got a couple of things here that I want to talk about. Someone asked, do you think that the next administration, if it's orange man bad, will he be able to drain the swamp? I've said this repeatedly, and I'll say it again, is that it's the system that's rotten to the core, right? Orange man bad can get in there and do a great job, but the financial system by which we live right now, by which we're governed, there's no fixing it. And when you think about it, for those of you that haven't heard me say this before, a government a government that does not have control over the fiat currency will implode, because governments only exist to get bigger, and governments only exist for governments. So if they don't have control over the fiat currency, at least in this country, it will implode. Why is that? Because we're governed by a debt-based financial system, which means that we have to continue to add debt to the system, or else it implodes. And eventually there will be so much debt in the system. And this is part of the video that I put out yesterday that I unlisted. So maybe I will put it back up for tomorrow so that you can check out at least the second half. For those of you that weren't here earlier, the reason I took that video down that I put up yesterday is because I made a mistake, and I said that Tyson Foods was owned by China, and it's not. I confused it with Smithfield, but Tyson Food is not owned by China, and I wanted to make sure that I set the record straight before I re-released that video. But I talked about all of the statistics or parameters by which our financial system is going to go away. And it doesn't matter who's in office, ladies and gentlemen. And Orange Man Bad, by the way, was in favor. I don't know if he's still in favor, but he was in favor of negative interest rates. Does anyone know here what negative interest rates would do to people that are on fixed incomes? To you out there that's on Social Security, that's on a pension? Do you know what that would do to you? It would have you on cat food within probably 6 months after negative interest rates were implemented. Well, DJT is all for negative interest rates. It's like getting a loan for free. Trust me, I don't like the administration that's here now, but I have a lot of problems with a lot of the policies that Orange Man Bad had. And I've talked to Gray about it. And I believe that the problems that I have are very valid. Like civil asset forfeiture. That's 100% unconstitutional. But Orange Man Bad, he wrote that back into law instead of letting it expire. Like red flag laws, 100% unconstitutional. But let's take the guns first, and then we can take it to court. That's what Orange Man Bad said. I do understand that we are in a system by which we are made to choose the best of the worst, right? But there's a whole bunch of stuff that Orange Man did that's unconstitutional while he was in office. I saw a channel where they pretty much spotlighted everything that he did that was unconstitutional. It's a lot more than I can think of right now, just off the bat. So it's not going to be the person behind the desk that brings us down. It's going to be the system itself. It doesn't matter who's behind there. That's why it's so important to get prepared, because it's the system that's rotten to the core. And I just hope that those of us that did prepare, that make it out to the other side, that start over in this new paradigm, the first turning, where we're done with the fourth turning, because that's where we're at now. I hope we will have prepared enough to where we will be strong enough to be able to help and to be able to lead, instead of having to walk around with our hands out because we have nothing left, because they took it all from us. What's going to happen in the future is that the greatest transfer of wealth that has ever occurred in the entire history of mankind, as we know it, like the last 5,000 or so years, the greatest transfer of wealth is going to occur. And it is going to be from the lower 95, 97% to the top 1, 2, 3%. So that means that most everyone here that's watching, if you're not preparing, you're going to be caught off guard and you're going to lose everything that you worked for your entire life, and you will see no hope for your children after you're gone, because that's what's going to occur. You want to call me crazy? Go ahead. Call me crazy all you want. But you see this fat body here? After this does happen, when it happens, I'll still be a fat body for good reason. Now here, and that's what Dale says right here. They're draining the swamp is pretty much impossible. The tentacles are too wide and deep. And unfortunately, that's probably why we do need a full collapse, so that hopefully when we start over, there will be good people up there.
You know, I saw Kitsy Witsy wrote, "What is the financial fix?" And I think, from my perspective, I think me and you might have talked about this. Basically, is the collapse of our current system.
Well, there is a fix, Gray. There is a financial fix, but I guarantee you that no one here is going to want to do it, or a large percentage of, let's just say, the American people will not do it because it takes a lot of pain. There is a financial fix. Imagine what would happen if we go ahead and backed the dollar by gold. Imagine what would happen. And people are like, well, there's not enough gold to do that. Yes, there is. There's always enough gold. It just depends on the price. So the price of gold would have to be revalued in order that it would counter all of the debt that is out there denominated in dollars. What price is that? I've heard people say $40,000 an ounce. I've heard people say $80,000 an ounce, and even more. But that is a way that we can save the dollar, is by revaluing gold. However, being that about 99.5% of Americans don't own gold or silver, most people are not going to want to go along with that, because there will be a lot of suffering for those people that don't own gold, because they're going to find that the dollars that they earn is now going to be devalued to a point where it's going to cost you $1,000 to maybe buy a can of beans. Literally, I'm not even making that up. It'll cost you like $1,000 to buy a can of beans if we revalue gold so that it can back up all of the debt denominated in US dollars out there. So people are not going to want to do it. Is it the right thing to do? I think it is, because we're the ones that made this mess. And let me go ahead and cover this. When I say we, I don't mean you specifically. I mean this government. We are the ones that made this mess. So why should anyone else outside of our borders have to pay for it when it's our mess to clean up? So I believe we can save the system, but it will cause an extreme amount of pain, and people are just not ready to put forth that pain. So the second choice, in my opinion, is going to be to let the system collapse on its own. And that's what's going to end up happening. Let me say thank you very much to Missy. Thank you, Missy. Have you heard anything about the solar eclipse? There is a lot of chatter. I have. What have you heard on that, Gray?
A lot of people are predicting a lot of different things, man. And I hate to say it because maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, I think it's for clicks, to be honest with you. You know, people are saying all this bad stuff's going to happen on the solar eclipse. You know, anytime there's something like, let's say there's what was that, Rudy, where all those people wore the black Reeboks and they went into they took poison or something because the comet was coming by. They thought
I know exactly what you're talking about. I forgot their name. I forgot the name of that group. Yeah, because I think it was Halley's Comet.
Yeah, the Halebot. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Halebot.
Okay,
comet.
There you go.
And it's just, unfortunately, you as an American citizen, or whoever's watching, or, you know, overseas and whatnot, you as a person, put it that way, you as a person, you got to sift through a lot of this stuff like that. Solar cycle is something that happens, you know, all the time, not all the time, but it happens. It's part of the earth and the solar system and stuff like that. And I personally think it will just probably be just another day. I think we had mentioned this on the last live stream when someone asked us about that.
Yeah,
Heaven's Gate, thank you.
Yeah, and what am I thinking here? And that's another reason why I really don't have too much worry in my heart or in my soul. I don't worry too much on a daily basis. It's because I'm prepped. and there's not too much more that I can do. Yep, I can. If I could, I would buy 1,000 acres of land 100 miles north of here, and fly in my food via helicopter and have an underground. But if I had all that stuff, oh my goodness, it would be so much fun to do that. But I would probably do all that stuff, like build a bunker and all that kind of stuff, more so because it would be a lot of fun to do it, right? But like right now, for your average thing that happens, every once in a while, your storms, unemployment, you get hurt, stuff like that, I'm pretty well prepped. So I'm not really afraid of too much stuff happening. I'm not afraid of anything happening, because if you can't change it, then why be afraid? Just let it happen and then react to whatever happened with the preps that you have, right? So if something happens, something happens. But I have been hearing a lot about the eclipse on April 8th. And I mean, there's a lot of videos out there that are very convincing, that they go back in biblical time and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, I watched one last night as my wife and I were going to bed. I was like, hey, let's watch this video. This looks very interesting. It was by some preacher that was going all the way back to the year 0, right? To like the year before 1 AD. And it was really interesting. Like all of the math that he was talking about was like right on the money. And I'm like, man, this is something. And yesterday was the first time that I actually spent time actually looking at something about that eclipse that's going to happen. And I was like, man, this is very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I actually got an email before the live stream here that I looked at, and it was someone telling me, I still have to read the rest of the email. Someone telling me something about that April 8th, there's going to be earthquakes and stuff like that, and that they're predicting like a 9.2 earthquake anywhere from Southern California all the way to Northern Alaska and stuff like that. I'm like, man, so there's so much information to go through that I'm not going to go through all that information, and we'll have to see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. God is going to have his way with us no matter what we think or do. Just be prepared. And the reason why I think it's important to be prepared, ladies and gentlemen, even though that you may see a grim outlook in the future, is because I believe that we were all put here for a reason. And one of the reasons we were put here is to never give up. You never give up. You continue to fight no matter how bad things look, right? Because this life is a gift. And you shouldn't give up. You should do everything that you can possibly do to survive into whatever situation you're going to survive into. So continue to fight, continue to prep, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, it's I've watched some of the titles where like Earth will be plunged into darkness and lots of titles like that, which are great because it makes you want to click on that. But you can't always live in fear, folks, especially like how Rudy said, if you're prepared, it's just that you feel a little bit more peace of mind and stuff like that. But you can only focus on the things that you have, that you can actually, what is it called, work with in the realm of things. You know what I mean? You can't worry about things that you have no control over. So things that I have control over is what I worry about the most, which is in my daily life and whatnot. And just, I always keep on adding to the preps, whatever I can do to make myself better prepared for something small or large. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what I suggest most folks do. And most of you folks who are watching these videos with us are probably doing the same.
Look at what Dale has to say. He says, we can barely predict the weather. We're going to,
he's
funny. Right.
It was supposed to rain today. It was like an 89% chance of rain. So I didn't want to do my garden video because I get caught in the rain. So I pushed it off till tomorrow, and it didn't rain. Not a drop. Not a drop. I didn't get a drop of rain. I was very disappointed.
Look at this one, Gray. Oh man, I wish that's all I owed Ukraine. I wish that's all I owed them. I owe them a little more than that this year.
I'm gonna love that one, man. That was great. That was a good one, man.
Oh man.
Let me see. At least 2 weeks of everything for Eclipse, and the dinner events are interesting. Yeah, man. I don't know. Has anybody ever? I've been through a couple eclipses myself. One full eclipse. I forget what year that was in. I was in Michigan at the time. Some solar eclipses and all the other jazz, and I'm still here, still alive. So I don't know. The thing is, folks, if anything ever truly bad happens, no one's going to give you a date and time. It's just going to happen that fast.
Have you ever watched, I did a short video on this gentleman here a while back. I don't know, probably less than 2 weeks ago. And I love this guy, man. I love listening to it because he is so inspirational and he is so positive. Have you ever listened to Bo Pony? Bo Pony.
Doesn't sound familiar.
You need to look up Bo Pony. I think his YouTube channel name is Gold 2020. I think Bo Pony, and I think his channel name is Gold 2020. I think it is. But man, I'll tell you what, this guy, he calls himself the analyst of time, right? And I read a short article about some stuff that he said here a while back on a video. And man, I started looking into him, and man, this guy takes it all. It's like biblical stuff. He calls himself the analyst of time, but he goes by the Bible and the timeline of the Bible. And he takes it all the way back, and he shows you by numbers. And I'm like, man, like these numbers are like so accurate. It's crazy the way it works, that sometimes you think like, man, this had to have been a great plan, right? This had to have been some kind of a great plan. You know how sometimes you read that it's been written, right? Like your future, it's been written. Why are you worrying about this? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But some of the numbers he comes up with is pretty interesting. Go look him up and give him some love, because in my opinion, from what I've seen of him, he's a really good person. Like a good person that wants to help people. Now, whether his analyst of time predictions are legit or not, well, I guess that's up to you to decide if you end up watching his stuff. Because he has talked about a few things that he was like spot on about a few things. You know, like when gold bottomed, I don't know, a few years back ago, I think it bottomed at 1,045, and it's never been below that back then. And how gold is going to escalate in price here in the near future. Pretty interesting. If anything, it'll be very entertaining.
Absolutely. There's a lot of that going around. There's just one guy who uses the you heard of the website called Fred? You might have even used it in your channel before.
Oh yeah, Fred from Federal Reserve.
Yeah, and that's just black and white. People can see a lot of things like the money being used and printed, or debt and stuff like that, and you can watch this incline just go up, up, up and away ever since 2020. It's been insane, the amount of money that's been printed and just all the other information and data shown in that. And it's a government website. They're not hiding it. Just most people don't want to look it up.
Yeah. Hey, Tony DG, just look for here. I'm going to write it down here, and then I'm going to link it. Bo Pony Gold.
That's funny, Minuteman. That's hilarious. Minuteman writes, Gray drinks the coffee and Rudy gets the energy.
Yes. Oh no, that's JT. JT, how you doing? I don't think I said hello to you. Let's see. This is it right here. This is his name, Bo Polney, and I believe his YouTube channel is Gold 2020. Just look that up on YouTube. All you got to do is put it in the search, and you can find it. Okay.
Oh man, that is great.
I don't like to open a lot of new pages on my internet when I'm on live, because sometimes it doesn't work out very well.
Yeah, not like me. I got like 16 of them open.
Oh, this is a good question here. Lisa Foster, what is the average silver price comparison to gold? So I don't even know what the price of gold or silver is today, but let me take a look real quick. Do you have it up there, Gray?
No, I was looking for my phone, but I left it in the other room because I didn't want to be bothered.
Okay, I'm going to look it up real quick because it's crazy is what it is. Let's see. I've got it. Boom.
I'm pretty quick myself. I'm just trying to see who we can find it. Metals.
Oh, you're looking at it?
I'm trying to find it. Gold's at 2,161.
2161.
And silver is at 2502. It's actually pretty high right now.
Let me see. So 0.02. So right now, the ratio of silver to gold is 86 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. Man, I'll tell you what, silver is where it's at. In my opinion, silver is where it's at. I think diversification you should do. You know, if you're going to have silver, have a little bit of gold. But right now, silver is where it's at. If you listen to Bo Pony, silver is where it's at. Silver is going to skyrocket like you've never seen anything. And in all honesty, it should. All right, let me give you a couple of numbers here. So right now, the ratio of silver is 86 to 1, right, for gold. But it comes out of the ground at about 8 to 1. So silver comes out of the ground about 8 ounces to every 1 ounce of gold. So if you just went with simple math and you went 2161 and you divided that by 8, using simple math, silver should be about $270 an ounce. But AP, isn't there more silver above ground than gold? No. There's more gold above ground that's already been mined, that's sitting in people's safes, sitting in central bank safes, sitting in jewelry and everything. There's more gold above ground than there is silver. But AP, isn't there more silver mined every year than gold? No, not really. You know, there's 870,000. I think last year was 870,000 ounces of silver that was mined, and gold, I forgot how many ounces in gold, but it was about 3,000 tons. So 3,000 times 2,200 times 16. Yeah, I think that's awfully. I think it was like 1 billion ounces of gold that was mined last year. So there's no reason why silver should be so cheap, and that's why I say that silver is where it's at. So there's enough silver in the world right now above ground for everyone in the world to have about a half an ounce of silver if it was split up evenly amongst everyone in the world. It's actually a little less than a half an ounce of silver for everyone in the world. So if you have 1 ounce of silver, you already have more silver than what everyone would have if it was evenly split. So silver's where it's at.
You know what you forgot today, Rudy?
What's that?
Our names. I saw someone in chat say, "Who's GREYMAN?" Maybe I was like,
how did that happen? Because it's showing up here in my back screen.
Is it really? In
yeah.
your thing? That's
yeah,
weird.
It's showing up in the back. I just noticed that. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I guess I'll have to figure that out later on because it's back here showing up. Yep.
But there's a lot of folks that know who we are and they kind of situated it. I happened to look at the screen and notice it too because I didn't notice it as well.
I didn't even notice it. Interesting.
I got silver certificate. Oh, silver certificates. I've collected some of those with the $2 bills, $1 bills, and stuff like that. There's a lot of. Someone said I got a lot of silver in my mouth. That was funny.
You know, the way I see it is if you don't hold it, you really don't own it. And that's why, like I promote a couple of companies, or mainly one, Genesis Gold Group. They sell. You can buy physical, but you can also turn over an IRA. And I wouldn't even turn over an IRA if I could actually take that IRA out. I'm not a financial advisor. So let's say, for example, so AP, why do you promote that company? Well, this is why. Let me tell you why. Because if I was in a position where I was still working and I had an IRA, and there was obviously money in there, and I knew that it was going to be years before I could retire at 59 and a half and take that money out. Or if I had to quit to take that money out, but I wasn't going to quit, right? I would rather have my retirement funds in real money. Okay. I would rather have it in real money. Even if I had to take a little bit of a loss to transfer it over to an IRA, I would rather have it like that than to have it in just pure paper. Okay. Do you have it in your hands? Nope, you don't. But at least you have it in something that is following real money. Okay. That's the only reason why I promote that. But first and foremost, I would say get physical if you can, because if you don't have it, you don't own it. And it's true with the IRA. If you don't have it, you don't own it. But if you have no other choice, then that's what I would do if I had no other choice. I took my IRAs that I had and a TSP that I had with the military a long time ago and cashed it in and turned it into real money. And I don't regret it. I don't care that the stock market is going to go up to 100,000, right? The stock market will probably have a boom, a boom bust cycle, I believe is what it's called, where it just skyrockets. But the reason why it skyrockets is because your dollars can't buy you nothing. I'd rather have real money where I know that this ounce of silver right here, is going to buy me in 10 years what it took for me to buy this ounce of silver with $25 worth of stuff. So if today $25 buys me 10 loaves of bread, 10 years from now, I don't care what the price of bread is, because I know that this ounce of silver, once I change it over to whatever fiat currency it is that we have at that time, it's going to buy me 10 loaves of bread. Same thing that it bought me today. But with fiat currency, that you have no idea what it's going to be.
I gotta mute my. I'll be right back because I'm pretty sure that's gonna be loud.
Mario says, are you doing any more prepping on the cheap videos? I love those. I am. I've got a prepping on the cheap video tomorrow, which is going to be like a 3-item review. I'm going to be going over 3 things tomorrow. It's actually a pretty long video. I think it's like 36 minutes long, but I'm going to be doing 3 different things on that video. And they're going to be prepping on the cheap as far as I'm concerned. They're prepping on the cheap. You see, the thing is kind of like subjective because some people are like tomorrow, I'm going to be reviewing something. I'm not going to give it away. I'm going to be reviewing something that's like $55. To some people, $55 ain't cheap. But to some people, $55 is cheap. The way I see it is this is what you're getting for like $55. I think it's a great deal because of what it can do. So I think that is prepping on the cheap. So anyways, it's going to be a trio of things that I'm going to be review for prepping on the cheap. And I actually had a lot of fun doing that video today. So I actually already edited it. I still have to upload it, which is going to take forever because it's so long. But anyways, it'll be up there tomorrow, Mario. Thanks for asking, by the way.
Yeah, I see some people, and I think you have mentioned this before because it's actually how I started in prepping silver for myself. Is when I would get paid, I would just go buy an ounce of silver once a week, and then it just added up over time. Usually that's the most affordable way to do it, and before you know it, after a couple of years, you'll have tons of silver in your hand.
This is a great question right here. Kathleen, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I hate saying that, but you understand, ladies and gentlemen, why I have to say that. Kathleen asked, if you already transferred it, meaning probably like your IRA, can you take it out? If so, do they send the metals? From what I understand, and you can give them a call and they can explain it to you, is that if you've got an IRA that let's say it's based on precious metals, you still have to follow the same rules that you would with a traditional IRA as far as when you can take it out. From what I understand, the earliest that you can take out any funds from your IRA without being penalized, there's 2 time periods. Most people don't know about this first one, but what the heck, I'll explain it now. And if I'm wrong, you can correct me because things may have changed. It's at 55 years old. At 55 years old, let's say you have $1 million in your IRA. And let's say that of that $1 million, that 500,000 is money that you made. That's not principal. So you got 500,000 in principal, 500,000 in interest that you made over the years, let's just say. So at 55, you can take out a set amount of money every year until you're 59 and a half. Let's say $50,000, as long as those funds do not cut into your principal. Because if they cut into your principal, you can't do it. So, and it has to be the same amount every year. So once you set it up, let's say I turn 55, I want to go into my IRA, I want to take out X number of dollars, $50,000 a year until I turn 59 and a half. Okay, I do that. No problem. That's at 55. But if you want to have full access to your IRA, you have to wait till you're 59 and a half. So I'm only assuming that with a metals-based IRA, it will work the same way. You have to wait until you're 59 and a half in order to have full access. And then once you have full access, whatever you take out over your principal, the principal amount that you put in there, then you're going to end up being taxed on it, depending on what type of IRA it is. They all have different rules and stuff. Right. So that's how I know that it is. And if you do take it out early for whatever reason, yes, you're going to be penalized 10% on the amount that you took out early. And then you're also going to have to pay taxes on top of that. So that's what I know about IRAs as far as transferring them and being able to take them out. But do your research because things may have changed since the last time that I read up on that.
St. Patrick's Day silver time. Sorry, I'm going through the chat as well, Rudy. I'm looking at
I am too. I'm taking a look here. AP, do you still use your freeze dryer? I gifted my freeze dryer. I paid it forward to someone that didn't have one because really I'm pretty much out of room. Right now I'm just filling in the gaps. and everything that I freeze dried, since it's good for like 25 years, we do not use in our daily, for our daily food supply, for what we use daily. We use the stuff in our pantry. So all of that stuff has been put away. And I really don't have any more room. I'd have to start hanging stuff off the ceiling, which is a great thing, by the way, running out of room. So I gifted it to my friend that didn't have one. And I told them that after they used it, if they run out of room, to gift it to someone else. Hopefully it'll still be kicking in the next few years. Margarita Castaneda, how are you doing?
Real quick, Rudy, I see, I'm going to put this in chat too, but Carice Kramer, please email me. I've been trying to find your email because of you won the GREYMAN bucket, and I can't find your email. Nice. And yeah, she won in that giveaway.
What's the timestamp? What timestamp is she on?
Carice is at, where is she? I saw her saying hello to someone, so I saw her in there. So I went in. She was at 8:11, so it would be what, 3:11 your time or 4:11?
Man, that was like 4:11. Okay, yeah. That's like an hour ago.
Yeah,
what's her name again?
Carice Kramer.
There she is.
Yeah.
Carice Kramer, make sure that you contact GREYMAN because you won a bucket of Nutrient Survival, the very best in freeze-dried foods. Gives you all the food, all the nutrition you need, and it tastes good. What do you think about that, Gray? Hey, do you still have that special going on your site?
It's going to be going for a while. I talked to Becky, and they're going to let it run for at least several months in regards to the bucket, the patch, and the 15%
What about the 15% off? That's what I'm talking about.
They're still keeping it running. She said she would inform me if they decide to change it, but they're still running for the 15%
All right,
off.
go ahead. Go check it out. It's 15% off. All right. I'm not going to be promoting any Nutrient Survival until Gray's is off promotion, or if I can get like a 20% off, like 3-day flash sale or something. So if I can get like a 20% off, I'll be like, hey, get away from Gray. You get to save an extra 5% with me. So come on over here for the next 3 days. But I don't even know if that's going to happen anytime soon. It's not something that I've been working on or anything like that. I think I'll just probably give them a call here later on this month or next month and be like, hey, can we do a 20% off for the people so that they can get 20% off for like 3 days or something like that. All right. But if you're in the market for Nutrient Survival, go and use GREYMAN's link and you can get 15% off, right, Gray?
15% off. Yeah.
Nice.
I know Stuart's prepping. He actually, it popped up on my thing that he did a video. I guess he ordered one and did like a little review of it. I was like, that's kind of cool. I told him, I said, I really appreciate it. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Let's see. Lisa Foster asks, how hard will it be for us to swap silver rounds or gold for services? I have no idea how hard it is. All I can do is go off of what's happened in other countries. Most recently, in the last couple of years or so, in Venezuela, people were actually trading or bartering gold pieces or slivers of gold and silver for haircuts, for groceries, for services, etc. So people know fundamentally what real money is, right? Especially when they've had to live under a rule of fiat currency, which unfortunately they find out too late that it's not real money, that it's just monopoly money that belongs to the money changers. And the only reason that they developed this system of fiat currencies, only one reason, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'll say two reasons. One of them is to be able to control you. And another one is to be able to take from you your wealth without the average person knowing that their wealth is being extracted from them. And that's the reason why they have a fiat currency. Most governments do. Control and wealth redistribution.
I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to try it anyways. Since I'm not a moderator in your account, it might block it.
Thank you, Dale. Oh, wait a minute. You're not a mod. So let me see real quick. How do I do that?
You would have to right click on my name and hit moderator.
Oh, I have to right click. Okay.
Yeah, and the dots, I think it's like you go to the little 3 dots and right click and it'll say add as moderator.
Nope, it's not letting me.
Oh, are you in YouTube or are you in
oh no, I'm in StreamYard.
It's gonna be pretty easy. We'll see what happens. But
let me try it. Let me see what happens. Let me see. I'm gonna try it. So hopefully it doesn't kick me out of the intro net.
You know, that's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to make you a moderator on my channel. It might make things easier when we're bouncing around and I need to add certain things. Thank you, JT.
All right. Take it over, Gray. Give me a second. Let me see if I can do this.
All right. Now, all right. I'm with the chat too. Let me see if I can find a good question here. So this weekend, 11 what nitrogen spill. Let's see if you do. Becky Hansen, the Simpure filters are awesome systems. She said she ordered one. Can't beat that. People are asking about goldbacks. I prefer silver regardless in regards to difference in regards to goldbacks. They're a little bit pricey for some folks. And the ones that I've seen, goldbacks are like in Nevada, Utah, and like 5 or 6 other states. I know silver is accepted everywhere and anywhere. I'm not sure how the goldbacks are going to play out. So I'd rather have physical silver, even constitutional silver, like Mercury dimes and pre-1964 quarters and half dollars and silver dollars and stuff like that. I just think that's a better option. For me, when I do gold, I don't try to buy the big chunks of gold. In regards to gold, the reason I do that is I buy golds in either tenths, or there's these little cards that you can break off, these little I forget what they are, but they're like a gram of gold or less than that.
Valcambes. They're Valcambes.
Yeah, Valcambes. Thank you, Rudy. Stuff like that, because if I have to use it as a bartering item, I'm not going to give someone an ounce of gold. That's the last thing that I want to do.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, brother. I see it now. It just popped up on my screen.
But these are not gold.
Oh, you got one. Awesome. Yeah.
No, these
but
are
still silver.
These are silver. Yeah.
Yeah. So
these are 10 grams. How many grams are these?
I think they are 10.
Yeah, 10 grams, 10 by 10.
So if you were trying to buy some food with silver, you don't want to give someone a silver dollar. You want to use something like that, or, some constitutional silver and break that off, because it's perforated. So you can break those pieces of silver off and do your bartering that way. At least I think that's the best option, because you don't want to buy a dozen eggs for one, Morgan silver dollar or something like that. Just wouldn't make sense.
Hey, Gray, do you mind if I talk about Simpure for a minute?
It's your channel, man.
Well, yeah, I don't want to cut you off, man. People are always getting on me about cutting you off, so I try to.
Oh, you're good, my friend, man.
So the reason I talk about it is because I have an awesome discount code for Simpure. It's always 20% off, and Simpure is already a very well priced, water filtration system, no matter what they're selling. And the reason I'm talking about this is because yesterday, a friend of mine and his wife, Junior, and his wife Cecilia, they came over to our house, and I was talking to Junior. He's the one that helped do a lot of the work in our new kitchen. And I'm getting to the part where I have to install the RO system. And I'm going to do a video of it when I do it. That way you all can see it. And he was telling me, he was showing it to me. He's like, how much was that? That was like, what, $1,200? And he says, I see them all the time for like $1,000, $1,200. Those are expensive. And I told him, no, it's not. I said, this unit right here is right now like less than $200 for if you use my code, my 20% off code. And he says, really? And I say, yeah. I said, the thing is that these units, they're made in China, ladies and gentlemen. But wait, all right. The ones that I've been comparing these units to, I thought were made in the US. I even have a link for them, like 100% US made water filtration system, so that you can check them out. When you look at my Simpure ones, you can check out the ones that are 100% made in the US, and they're not. They're assembled in the US, but they're charging you $1,200 for something that is about $200 after you use my code. So I'm going to be doing a review video of the new system that they came out with not too long ago, which is a tankless under the sink reverse osmosis system, which is pretty awesome. There's 3 connections to making that system, and you're in business, right? So it's almost plug and play. But, he was thinking here that that's a $1,200 system. And it is, if you buy it from someone that, I'm going to say this, but it's my opinion, that wants to rip you off. Okay. Now, water filtration, in my opinion, is one of the very most important things that you can do. You should never trust your utility companies, not saying that they're bad or that they have bad intentions, but just saying that they're humans. What if something goes wrong that you don't know about, that they don't know about, and you're drinking this water? Everyone in the United States of America should live in a home with a RO system. That way they know that the water they're drinking or consuming is clean, not only for them, but for their families. So I'm going to be putting out that video probably within the next week or 2. And if you are in the market for an RO system or a gravity fed system or a system that you can take hiking with you, which is going to appear on one of my prepping on the cheap videos, because it's an awesome system at a great price, go check out Simpure. This is one of the ways that you can, support what I do here and what Gray does on his channel going through his links. Is by taking a look at our links. And if you want to buy it anyways, use our links. It supports us and it gives you a great discount. And again, water filtration, that's not something that you should even put on the back burner or put on your priority list. It's something that you should already have. And if you don't have it, you should get it like right away, because there's too many stories. East Palestine, Detroit, Michigan, or Flint, Michigan, where people are drinking water that they're being told is good for them, and it's not. So anyways, that's my spiel on SimPure. I think they're a great company with a great product at a very good price, by the way.
I agree. Like I said, I've been using that UV. Is it the UV3 is what it's called?
I love that filter, man. I think it's such a good high quality filter for like really cheap, and it's still on sale too. I think it's still on sale. It's still like less than $200 with 9,000 gallons worth of filtration and the 3 filters that it provides. Great filter.
I think what I'm going to do is I was talking to them because they wanted me to do the review this month, and I already got so much stuff on my plate. I said, if you can give me a good discount code and make it worth my viewers' time and worthwhile, we can shoot it for April. So we'll see what we can do with that.
Hey man, try to get a bet. I got such an awesome discount code with that thing. I think it came out to like $183, man. For
That's a steal.
That thing is such a good price for that. But you know what, Gray? Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. All right. I honestly prefer, like, anyone that I recommend a reverse osmosis filtration system to, or any kind of water filtration, I would recommend that if they live in a place where they're going to stay in for a long time, that before they even get that U3, that they get like an RO system that you put under your sink. That's the old school type, the ones that have the little tanks. Because you can get one of those after you use my code. You can get one of those for like $120, man. I mean, that is dirt cheap, and it's going to give you potable, clean water for years, literally, on that same set of filters, because it comes with a set of filters. I believe that's 75 gallons of clean water a day. And how many people use 75 gallons of clean water a day to drink and cook? Not many. So those filters that it comes with is going to last a really long time. $120. I mean, you make your money back, and I would say in a couple of months of buying a bottle of water every other day, you make your money back. So it's a no-brainer.
I agree, because right now I have the tabletop reverse osmosis, the gravity filter as well. They offered me to work with them on the under the counter, but I don't plan on staying in this place more than another couple of years. So I do agree. Plus, it's a lot more affordable, and especially when it's inline as well. I saw a couple of things pop up. JT, if you ever have onion questions, my onions are doing very well. And Karen Whiteman says, Rudy, what size solar generator will run the SimPure counter purifier? I don't know if you've been using it, but I
already know. Yeah, I actually gave that to a friend because obviously I already have more than one RO system, and I didn't need it, and my friend needed it. So it's like 28 watts. So it's nothing. So I figured when I did that video, if you go and check my review video on the what is that, the D3 or the Y7, the Y7 countertop RO system. If you check out my video on the Y7, the SimPure Y7, I actually show you how many watts it uses. I think it's like 28 watts while it's actually cleaning the water. And I think it took about a minute or so to clean about a half a gallon of water. So if you multiply the water that you need by about a minute, in half gallons. So if you need 10 gallons a day, that's about 20 minutes of runtime at 28 watts, which is pretty much nothing. It's like, I don't know, 10 watt hours. You're going to be able to clean enough water for the whole day with about 10 watt hours, which is, if you see this right here, this is my Mighty Mouse, 595 watt hours. It means that this right here is probably going to be able to filter, I don't know, 2 months worth of water through that countertop RO system. So it doesn't use almost no energy, which is really nice. But if you're worried about energy, get the gravity fed. But if you're looking for a solar generator that's going to go ahead and power that, pretty much anything will. And this is the smallest one of OUPES. They actually came out with a smaller one, Gray. Do you know that?
They asked me to do a review on it. I'm so
Yeah,
busy at the time.
mine's on its way. Mine's on its way.
Nice.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how fast it'll get here because I told them to send me an extra one so that I can give it away to someone that lives in Fairbanks.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it's been a while. It's been a while since I gave something away to someone that lives in Fairbanks. So I was like, hey, can you send me an extra one so I can give it away to someone here? But yeah, I'm pretty interested in seeing it
it's super
because it's
affordable.
such a small unit and it's a fast charging unit, which is pretty cool. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's I've read the specs on it.
No more spoiler alerts, man.
Yeah. I've read all the specs, and it is. I was like, this is very nifty, and I like what they're doing with it. Because I just told them I have 5 boxes in my hallway from Blue Yeti. I have another 5 or 6 from Eco. It's just like I'm just bogged down from now through the month of July, brother. It's just I can't, man. I want to, but I don't want to. I don't like giving people my word unless I'm going to do something for them. But this might be a good question for you. I tried to catch it. Where did it go? Someone said, what is better? What do you think? Is there a difference between the tabletop and the under the sink in regards to water quality? I think that's what the question was.
I don't think so. I haven't used the under the sink. Oh, wait a minute. The under the sink. Okay. There's so many under the sink RO systems. So the under the sink RO system that I usually recommend, which is like a legacy type one that has the little tank and it has like 5 or 6 filter cartridges. Those types, the water quality is outstanding. All right. The water quality for the countertop system is just as good. But the thing is that since it's a compact system, it doesn't come with 6 different filters. So you're going to go through those filters a little faster than you would with the under the cabinet system, right? I believe that the Y7 is rated for like 600 gallons per filter change. But the filters don't cost very much to change. They're probably like 30, 40 bucks to change out. But it's rated for like 600 or so gallons, where the system that you put under the sink, that thing is rated for a lot more gallons. And it's actually cheaper than the countertop system. I recommend the system under the sink. People get annoyed because there's a lot of tubes. It's just not that difficult to put together. And Simpure actually has a little video, a tutorial that shows you what to do step by step. But wait until I show you the RO system that I'm putting into my new kitchen, because like I said, there's 3 things that you have to connect. That's it. 3 things, and it's an under the counter or under the sink RO system, and it's tankless. So it just uses the pressure of your utility to push the water through. It's a really nice unit, to tell you the truth. So far, I haven't connected it yet, but it looks very nice.
Yeah, no, I was going to add to that because I just ordered. I got them in yesterday. Because I finally, when I did the review, and I've been using that the Y7 ever since I did the review, even several weeks before the review. So I just got my new filters in because it told me it needed to change the filter. So I don't know how many months that's been, but we use it every day. The only thing we do different is we add electrolytes to the water that we get out of it.
Oh yeah, I learned that the hard way. Yep, I always add electrolytes. Yeah, I add electrolytes to all the water that I drink out of the reverse osmosis. Always.
And Bob, I agree with you. The gravity filters and stuff like that are definitely for a true SHTF situation where you might have to be on the go.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends because, like the gravity fed, in my opinion, man, those filters that Simpure has for the gravity fed, they are such a good price. I don't think they know what they're doing right now, because they're such a good price and they just do such a great job. I went and got me at least a couple more boxes, a couple more sets, because I told my wife, I'm like, in addition to all of the other water filtration stuff that we have in the house, I was like, this system right here, we've got 9,000 gallons right here from the one that I reviewed. I says, plus we got another 2 sets. We've got 27,000 gallons of clean water. And Gray, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is, or let me know if you agree with me. I think that during a real SHTF, during a real long-term crisis, that clean water is going to be one of the most barterable things that there is, if not the most sought after barterable item that there is. So if you're sitting on a filtration system that can filter out 27,000 gallons of water because you went out and bought a couple of extra boxes of filters, man, you're going to be sitting nice, right? And I know someone here is going to say something like a marauder is just going to come and take it from you. Well, if that's what God has planned, then that's what he has planned. But you're going to be sitting pretty nice, especially if you have a pool in your backyard and you've got a filtration system that can take the chlorine out of there, which those filters can, from what I remember reading the specs. Yeah, really nice to have that stuff, and it's going to be important to have that.
I mean, worst case scenario with chlorine, you could dunk a 5-gallon bucket in there, let it bake off the chlorine in the sun, and you could also do it that way if you had to with the pool.
Yep, you can. This is a great question, and it's funny because it's actually going to be on tomorrow's video.
So video, nice.
It's funny. The video that I've got coming out tomorrow is going to be a prepping on the cheap. But as I was walking out the bunker while I was making the video, I actually stopped by my little Mighty Mouse. I have a secondary Mighty Mouse, an Opus 600, that I asked for Opus to send to me. And the reason is because I don't know what's going to happen. I've left it outside in the weather all winter long, all the way down to negative 45 degrees, just to see how that battery is going to do after we're back in above freezing weather. Now, I believe that solar generator will charge all the way up to like maybe like 25 or 30 degrees, but not very well. I don't think they're really meant to charge during freezing weather. And I know that it won't take a charge because I tried it today at like 10 degrees and it's not going to take a charge. And it's been out there all winter long. I don't bring it in and bring it out. I just left it out there. And what I'm more interested in is to see if after the winter, after it's been at negative 45, for several days, weeks during the winter, that once the snow melts and once we're above freezing weather, constantly, that it will actually take a charge to 100% and that it will work like it normally works. And the reason is because a lot of people, I forgot the name of our community member, Dragon something, and I still have to take a look at all the emails he sent me. But he said that an EMP can actually make a solar generator catch on fire. And I'm like, I don't know. And I told him, I said, send me whatever information you have so I can take a look at it so I can be convinced one way or another. So I started thinking, I started thinking this a while back. He just brought this up recently. But I started thinking, what if we take our solar generators during the winter time or during all the times of the year and put it in a Faraday cage outside? And I'm like, how would that solar generator do after sitting outside at negative 45 for the whole winter, right? And if it does well, then that's one option that people would have that are afraid of that happening, is just build a Faraday cage outside away from your home, put your solar generators in there. If you're just going to use it for emergencies, then take them out every so often and recharge them to make sure they're topped off and that they still work. And then there you go. You don't have to worry about that, right? So anyways, I'm doing that experiment. And on tomorrow's video, I actually talk about that for a little bit because you see me walk across it on my deck here. So it's funny that I'm getting asked these questions here. But I think that if it does charge below 32 degrees, it's not going to be very much below 32 degrees.
Yeah, I was thinking, because I know some folks, the depletion of the rate of depletion on a battery usually is a lot more in a colder environment versus a warmer environment.
Yeah.
I've always tried to figure that in, because like I said, we are in two opposite realms of what temperatures are. You're in the freezing cold and I'm in the extreme heat. So it's nice to kind of get from the heat side from me and the cold side from you, I guess.
Yeah. Let me see. Valerie here says, where can we get the silver you showed on a few minutes? This one right here?
The Valcambi.
Oh, the Valcambi? I got this from Alaska Rare Coins.
Yeah, I was gonna say I usually get them from my local guy too.
Somebody came and sold it to them, and I bought it from them. Yep, there it is, from Alaska Rare Coins. That's their little sticker right there. I don't even remember when I bought this. I probably bought this thinking, oh my goodness, $3 premium. I got to pay $19 for this. or something like that. And now, anyways, I don't even remember when I bought it. I just have it here. I think it's pretty cool to have those.
Be very,
But
very careful on Amazon. I see them on Amazon all the time.
I'll never buy anything like that from Amazon or eBay or nothing like that. I don't care.
I've seen a lot of that floating around. You want a trusted source. If you can find someone local, your local guy, either that or they might be able to point you in the right direction in regards to the people that they've worked with. You don't want to lose any money on this stuff, folks. A solid flare can cause your whole house to get torched. It's funny.
Yeah, it could. Yeah.
I've had, like I said, I've had that guy, the professor on my channel, the EMP professor, and we've talked behind the scenes about a lot of different stuff. And the biggest factor is we don't know to the fullest extent what will truly happen in a full coronal mass ejection and an EMP in that type of environment. They're trying to do test after test after test, and they have an idea, but they don't know exactly what's going to happen and how much things are going to be affected.
I mean, I hate trying to answer those questions, because you just don't know. And I mean, like I said before, there's some things that are out of your control. It doesn't matter how well prepared you are. There's some things that are 100% out of your control. And I mean, if it happens, it happens. It's nice having a backup plan, a backup location. Most people can't do that. But what are you going to do? Not prepare? Just because something can happen, right? So, I mean, yeah. Let's see. Question: if you were out of town for 30 days or so, should I have unplugged my countertop Simpure? I don't think it really matters, Char. I don't think it's going to hurt it or anything like that if you leave it plugged in or if you unplug it. Once you come back, you should be able to just plug it right back in if you unplugged it and then use it. I would just give it a couple of flushes. That way, any water that was in there stagnant for the last 30 days can get flushed through. That's it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was going to tell you, I met this gentleman today. I was so blessed. I go to the farmer's market here locally. And finally someone who's willing to sell me eggs at an affordable price that are not washed. I was just like, and he has a beautiful piece of property, man.
Nice.
Beautiful piece of property. Like I haven't mentioned it to him yet, but from just what I'm looking at and the conversations that we've had, he's definitely a prepper. Him and his wife.
Yeah, you can spot them out. I remember here a while back. I don't even remember how long ago it was, but I just remember it. I remember going to Costco, and I remember seeing a gentleman pushing one of those, the orange carts. It's like a flatbed. Pushing one of those, and it had like 2 50-pound bags of rice on it, a whole bunch of cases of different types of meats and foods and stuff. And his little girl, it looked like she was probably a little 3-year-old girl or something. She's got a little blonde, what do you call not ponytails, but the little pigtails, right? And I'm like, oh man, that's so cute, because she's riding on there as he's pushing. And then I look and I'm like, he's a prepper. And the reason I said that is because a lot of business owners go to Costco to buy supplies for their business. But I could tell he's not a business owner. I'm like, that guy's a prepper. I'm like, that's awesome, man. That is awesome.
We could have like a secret code or something like that, man. Where is GREYMAN at? Fox, I am right here, man.
Let's see. Gray, what else do you want to talk about, man? We're doing a marathon session today.
Yeah, I was looking at the time. We talked about, whoops, I just smacked my microphone. We talked about the first thing, which is the Tyson, and then I had all this other stuff on here.
You were talking about eggs.
Yeah.
And I haven't had to buy eggs in, I don't know, like 6-7 months now.
Oh, lucky you with the chickens, man.
Yesterday, I went in there yesterday, and I got like a dozen eggs out of the bottom of one of those chickens. It was awesome.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah. People always they ask me, why don't you have chickens yet, Gray? And I said, because I can't. Trust me, I would 100%. If I could, and where I'm living, I would. And they say, why don't you move? Well, it costs money and time, and I'm just not ready to move yet. So
and
eventually,
you know what? One thing that I'm very happy about is that I believe I'm spending less money on feeding the chickens than what it would cost me to buy, eggs from someone that raises their own chickens on a monthly basis.
You doing a garden this year?
I'm so busy, man. I've just got so many things to prep for and so many things to do. Very busy. I think that if I do anything, it'll be very minimal. Maybe some cucumbers, maybe some lettuce, maybe some microgreens for the chickens. and a lot of those things that maybe are easy to grow that I don't have to really mess around with too much, so that I can give it to the chickens, because I've already got the seeds. I've got thousands and tens of thousands of seeds. Might as well throw some on some dirt, and whatever grows out of it, I can give to the chickens. Have a couple of cucumbers during the summer, stuff like that. So I don't want to say I want to be doing a full blown out garden, but I'll probably throw a little bit together.
Yeah, that's the only reason I was asking. That's because chickens love the chicken scrap or the garden scraps and everything else. You could grow for the chickens.
Yeah,
saves you money definitely. Stuff. One thing I do wanted to bring up is your thoughts on Cuba, man. You see what happened to them?
No,
you didn't hear what happened to Cuba, huh?
I have no idea. You're going to tell me right now?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. Oh, so large swaths of Cuba, including the capital, had been hit by power outages. Authorities said as the country grapples with dire economic crisis. It's been going through several days of no power. It's been blacked out. They're going through a huge little SHTF in their area, man. Yeah, you can.
Man, I feel so bad for the Cuban people, man. I really do, because all of these idiots that think that communism is the way to go. Why don't you go live in Cuba? Why don't you go over there and fix it? Go fix communism with communism. Because the thing is, Gray, is they're not doing it right. Communism works, but the Cubans, even though they've had 60, 70 years to perfect their communism, they're just not doing it right. That's why communism is not working over there. That's why they still have cars on the roads there that are from the 1960s and 1950s. Because communism works so great. It's such a shame that we in the United States are wanting to go the path of Cuba. Or not that we all, but that a large portion of the, I would say the younger people in the United States want to go, the way of Cuba. Why don't they just go there and live there as a Cuban for 6 months, a year, so that they can learn something about life, about real life before. And I understand, man, a lot of these people have been manipulated. A lot of these kids have been hit by NGOs, that spend a lot of money on trying to, go through the education system to teach children what they shouldn't be learning. But anyways, I digress, man. It's just a hell of a shame, because Cuba's a beautiful country. It really is. And the people are beautiful people, from Cuba.
There's a lot of great folks on there. And most of the Cuban people, as you know, that come over to the United States fall heavily conservative because of the situation they've lived through their lives and their grandparents.
Why do you think that Mayorkas, whatever his name is, don't want him to come over here? That's why they don't want him to come over here, because they're living through what we want to go to. And they're like, no, man, you can't do that. I saw a video of this guy who immigrated here from Cuba, and he got his first job at UPS as a legal American resident. He got his first job here from UPS. And when he got his first paycheck, he could not believe that in 1 week or 2 weeks, I think it was a bi-week or bi-month, that in a 2-week period, he earned more than what a doctor earns all year long in Cuba. Incredible.
Yeah, man, you can be a doctor or taxi cab driver. You're still making roughly the same amount of money, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy. But other than that, man, I mean, we've covered a lot of stuff, man. There's, like I said, there was major internet outages across Africa, just things that are overseas that are slowly will work themselves over here.
So wait a minute, man. Let's talk a little more about what's going on in Cuba here. So, I mean, how long have they had is it a countrywide power outage, and why?
Yeah, countrywide. Yeah. Well, they're saying
of their oil situation, because they don't have enough oil.
Let me see if I can find. This is up to 5 hours ago. Protesters in Cuba decry power outages, food shortages. Small groups of protesters took to the streets. Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any updates as of 5 hours ago. U.S. Embassy in Panama said there were also reports of protests. Let me see. Anything else? One of the worst economic and energy crises in its history. Waves of blackouts have grown worse in recent weeks. Food shortages, inflation. What else? Hundreds of thousands of people are now migrating, headed to the United States. Let me see. What else? There's all stuff all over. I guess you can find little clips and videos on, X, aka Twitter. I'm trying to see anything else I can find. Yeah, there's people in Miami down there trying to support the Cubans for liberation, but you know how that goes. But as
Hey,
of right
man, they
now,
haven't had enough. They haven't had enough, Gray.
As of 4/10, March 18th, which is what? Yeah. As far as I know, they're still going through it, man. And probably not going to get any better. The government's not going to care about the people. You know how that is in Cuba.
No, and a lot of people argue that it's because of the sanctions that the U.S. puts on Cuba. And you know what? I don't agree with sanctions at all. Not at all. Right? Not one bit. But I'm going to go ahead and play devil's advocate to that argument for a little bit. And that is that I don't believe that Cuba's in the position it's in because of the sanctions that are put on it by the U.S. And let me tell you why. Because it's a communist country. Because
Absolutely.
as long as the U.S. takes those sanctions off, who is going to benefit? It won't be the people. It'll be those that are in charge. That's who will benefit. Those are the ones that will become richer. Those are the ones that will be better fed. It's not the people. It will be those that are in charge. And that's why communism doesn't work. Because not only do they drive out innovation, i.e., Cubans are still driving around in cars from 1950. Why? Because why would someone have a dream when that dream will result in hard work for nothing gained? Why? Why should some? I don't like Bill Gates, but I'm going to use him as an example. Right? why should there be a Bill Gates working out of his mother's garage, making something that's going to help billions of people? Some people would say that computers haven't helped us at all, but you know what I mean. Building something that has helped billions of people. Why would he do it when he sees no gain? When he look at Ronald Reagan. He was on an interview back in the early 80s, and they asked him, why did you go from making like 8 or 9 movies a year to only making 2 movies a year? Because you all know Ronald Reagan used to be like a movie star in California, and he used to be a resident of California who then became governor of California before he got elected president of the United States. And he said, well, because in California, they passed a 90% tax on anything that you earn over X number of dollars. And for him, that was anything more than 2 movies. So if he played in more than 2 movies a year, the other movies that he played in, he was only going to earn 10% of what he made. 90% was going to go to the state. Same thing. Why would you go to work when you know that you're going to give away 90% of your labor to someone else so that they can spend it how they want? You're not. I don't care how much you say that you think it's the way to go. You're not going to do that. All right. One of the biggest awakening moments I ever had in my young adult life was when I got my first paycheck after I moved out of my house in New York. I moved to Florida. I worked for a moving company for a couple of months to get on my feet while I was down there. And my very first paycheck, I looked at it. I was like, oh, my God. I couldn't believe how much money they took out of my pay because I was single, back then, and they took away. I'm like, oh my goodness. And it's like communism is like 10 times worse than that. They take even more and they don't even tell you where they spend it or ask you, how can they spend it? Why would anyone want that? It's nothing but an innovation killer. It will take a country and keep it in place for generations. As long as communism still exists there, it'll just keep it in place for generations. Just look at Cuba.
I made a mistake, Rudy.
Yeah.
Someone wrote in the comments something about taxi drivers making the same as doctors, and I don't know if they believe me or not, but actually I made a mistake. Taxi cab drivers they make more. That's why I put the article down there in your little section to prove a point. But yes, taxi cab drivers in Cuba earn more than doctors, ranking in more money in one day than a doctor will make in an entire month. Because the taxi licenses are privately held and wages are not set by the state. That's wild, brother. That is wild.
Well, you know what? I see that Copernicus is still here, Miss Worm, and it's very, very late over.
Yeah, it is.
So I think it's time for us to go ahead and sign off. This was a marathon right here, 1 hour and 50 minutes.
This is the longest we've gone, brother.
Yeah. And I remembered the national anthem today. Gray. So
Yes, you did, man.
so yeah, I remember that our last live stream that I had, I forgot, at least my live stream, I forgot to play the national anthem. I felt really bad about that. But oh wait, what do you got here, Gray? Do you want me to put this up before we leave?
Oh, that was just the article that I was reading from. You're more than welcome to share it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was just the article that I was talking about.
Oh,
about
okay. The one you're talking
drivers.
about. I'm gonna have to take a look at this right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go take a look at this.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I'll send you a copy of it in the private chat so that you can have it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, please do that.
Should work. Yeah, you should be able to click it there, I think. Hopefully.
All right, everything looks good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take off for today. Thank you very much for joining in. And remember that next Monday, it will be the same time, but not the same place. We'll be coming in live from GREYMAN's channel. So put it on your calendars, 3 p.m. Alaska time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, next Monday over at Gray's channel, and we'll do it all over again. And I want to say thank you very much for joining in today. God bless every one of you. God bless America. Gray, take it away.
Yeah, we truly appreciate your support. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on the way out. Again, you can find we bounce around. So tonight we're on Rudy's channel. Next week we'll be on my channel. Other than that, God bless you all as well. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your evening to hang out with myself and Rudy. And as always, folks, remember, you are not alone.
Amen. All right. Bye-bye.